we're designing some for travelers to put on the last two.
Like a movie, yeah. Cece in the rain, just Cece in the rain.
Yes, Henry's going to, but I'm going to, Henry's going to be the message.
Look at my face. Oh,
So Francis very often used to get away from the crowds, from the people, from his apostolic work, and come to places like this. Well, that was the place where St. Francis prayed and where he had some rest. You see, I told before yesterday about St. Francis preaching to the birds. So when St. Francis was here in this place, certainly there were birds on this tree, and he used to talk to them, to preach to them. But before we start walking again to that place, just to see the area, how beautiful and relaxing it is, you know, I would like to teach you a song. Maranatha was a word used by the first Christians, which means come, Lord. Just listen to me, and you will learn it, certainly.
When I was coming down here today, I thought, Jared, what are you going to talk about today? For the last 30, 40 years, you've been saying 30, 40 hours worth of information. And I haven't really repeated much except to say Merry Christmas. And I came up with, there is really no Christ Mass in Christmas. Christmas is a financial organization that your children use against you to plan the rest of their year together. I woke up this morning, which was pretty close to afternoon, depending which time zone you're in. Australia's already into tomorrow, I think. And it just said, you know, at some point during this day, those of us who are following the Christ are going to recognize that we have a big, big family. Because once you become brothers in Christ, you become sons of God. And the people that complain and say there is no Son of God, there is no such thing, are not following the Christ, they're following their own thought pattern, which is going to take them to the grave anyway. I think we ought to plan on what we're going to do the first day of Christmas when we've already been dead. What kind of present do we give to people? Well, what is it we can take with us? You take your good works and your good attitudes, and all the negative ones, they go over to a little room that's got a dial on it that says, in so many years and so many days and months, you're going to reincarnate again. Because you never learned how to handle that swear word. And we go, wow, I think I want to handle the swear word. I think I do. Yeah, I do. Well, I'll get around to it. Well, I don't know. I use the word correctly, so I mean its proper location in the sentence. It's correctly used. So I'm right, even though I may be wrong. And what are we right about? If you really get down to it, we're all part of the rightness. When we all see the one that we love and will be with, there's nothing we wouldn't do for him. And we absolutely open the doors to the kingdom of heaven inside of us. And we take our heart and put it out here on the sleeve. You don't have to do that, folks. That's going to cause you some hurts and angries and upsets if you extend yourself and put it out. And how does that work? Well, it works this way. When you're really young, you ask, a girl will ask her girlfriend to ask somebody else to ask the guy if he likes her. It can get more convoluted. It's like he likes you and 25 others. Well, that kind of just bams into the heart on the sleeve. So I tell people, hey, be smart, keep your heart back where it belongs, and just extend your arms. You can hold them, you can touch them, you can be with them. But to try to hold them, to manipulate them, we'll be discussing mostly about men, unless, of course, we're not. And a lot of women are very good at this. All they have to do is walk in a room, and that sound you hear is men's jaws dropping. So you have to get quite a few to make the noise. You know, around the world, except in what we might refer to, if we were much older, in historic wise, that would refer to them as pagans. They really don't do Christmas like we do. I mean, they really set up the whole reverence, awe, wonderment, admiration for the Christ. And we look to see what kind of money we got and how our credit card is. And then we head downtown and buy presents for ourselves to give away to somebody else, thinking they'll like that because I like that. That's really one of the wrong ways to approach gift giving. People say, well, what do you do? Generally, I give greenbacks, dollar bills. And everybody knows that I'm sort of pinch penny and tightwad. And so they don't know what they're going to get. And yet, to those you love and you respect and admire, you always give something extra. That's what the Christ is doing to us right now. Giving that something extra. And you'll feel it. It'll come into your heart. It can make your heart feel like it's jumping. Maybe you'll feel like it's starting to race a little bit. What is it doing to us? Re-chemicalizing, realigning our consciousness, re-chemicalizing the body into the spiritual form by which we're going to be known. And we can start to do it here. Therefore, we can have heaven on earth. We can have the spiritual realities here on earth. But do you have it out here with other people? Not usually. Usually we're looking at other people from a superior position. I know and you don't. That's not superior, it's just advanced information. If we're going to advance information, we ought to probably have some sort of data to back it up. Movement of spiritual inner awareness produces the data this way. Here's the information, you check it out, and then you will get the data, and then you will have the correct information for you. And so MSIA just is an arrow, one-way arrow. It's like we're going up. Anybody else who wants to go down have to get off the arrow path and get down on the open plains where you can just meander and wander and hope you'll be seen out there with the 10 billion other people. Well, I know there's not that many on the planet that you know of. But there may be some others around. That would be nice to know. You know, while I've been talking to you, I've been looking around the room, and this year I have discovered one thing from this assembly here. And this may sound like a real shock to you, but I'm sure it isn't. Except as if you have dyed your hair, We're getting a lot of white hair people coming in here. And I told people a long time ago, you want to keep the color in your hair, use zinc. It starts to produce the color back in. Well, when I told it a long time ago, somebody said, what if I get a zinc wash? I said, you're going to make it a henna wash or just a little color dye? And they looked at me really strange. You want to have everything come from the inside out. As soon as you start depending from the outside in, somebody's got you and holding you in the wrong area. And it'll be hard to get out because this old hostage syndrome, after you've been kidnapped in a couple days, you decide it's better to love them than to fight them. And so you start to love them, and pretty soon in the loving, you've joined their club. So, do we do brainwashing here? Nah. That's not going to be the part that really survives. We do heart washing and heartwarming and touching people. I got an email from a person that said, what's MSI's creed? I said, well, we have quite a few, about 12. I said, really, where are they? I said, in all the discourses. I said, well, could you help me find them? And I said, no, I'll tell them to you. So get out a pencil and paper because I'm not going to tell you twice. So I wrote them down as I gave them, and this lady wrote them down. Take care of yourself so you can help take care of others. Don't hurt yourself and don't hurt others. Use everything to your advancement, upliftment, and growth. So that means if something bad's going on, you don't back off and feel victimized. You move into it, very slowly move up against it. And then from the inside, you just keep the loving spirit moving. And it'll start to push on those outer pressures and move them away. Here's the bad news. There are more outer pressures out there available to us than there are pressures inside of us in the physical body. And they still haven't got everything done about the physical body. I mean, they've been after cancer for years. And have they cured it? Well, they have a sense of cure out there. They say, this person outlived the cancer. What does that mean? They just outlived death. And then they'll get hit by a truck. If you're going to go, that's it. It's going to happen. And how does all that happen? Massive brain hemorrhages, massive heart attack, massive Mack truck hitting you. And you know that you shouldn't have been there. So massive not being in the correct time and place for your existence and moving over to somebody else to see if you can get part of theirs. Well, I suppose I might be part of that group, but not in a majestic way like a lot of other people who are doing motivational work. They're doing it obviously for the money, obviously to help people, and if they don't make the money, they won't help the people. So where am I not in part of that? I have a vow of poverty. I don't get money. I get my expenses. I don't own anything. This ring that I have on my hand, it belongs to the church. This tie, this shirt, this coat, these pants, shoes, socks, underwear, I'm wearing them, but this does not mean possession is 9/10 of the law. I'm ready to give them back if anybody wants them from the church, headquarters, administration, to make them more exact, the presidency. I can just imagine some young guy coming in here and going, well, by the time I get his age, I'll be that big and fat, so I'll just get his now and then hold him. Because the nice thing about it, when people give me gifts, they give me very good ones. And they all have good tastes. And I admire that in them. But I'm more gleeful when they give it to me. You don't hear that word put together, gleeful. Happy, joyful. No, outer world things don't make me joyful except one person. And she knows who she is. Other people make me extremely happy. Nice to be with them. It's nice to be here. Spirit's moving very gently in the room right now. Real sweet. Allow yourself to participate in it. Whatever the worries are, the future, from the past, from this morning, or towards this afternoon or tomorrow, will I get the present I want? Produce the presents you want, and then you can get a present to go along with it. Insight Seminars has a wonderful section in there called Victim Accountability or Responsibility. And you find out what is it that about you that keeps you being put into these places where you get kicked in the teeth psychologically. What is it such about you that you have lack? What do you really need to find to make yourself feel full? Ice cream? It'll make your stomach feel full, but I doubt if it'll fill your eyes, because the eyes always are hungry. Some people go into artwork and they'll buy beautiful paintings like a Mona Lisa or a Greco or Rembrandt, and they're all around the world. And I don't think that after the World War II was over, that the Germans gave back all the artwork they took. And I'm not sure we're going to get it back unless somebody goes in the mountain exploring for gold or something else and digs into it. I think that might be one of the reasons why we keep looking for weapons of mass destruction, because we know how well people can hide things. Are you hiding the Christ? He said in this book, it's referred to as the Bible, "Suffer little children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven." What is he saying there? Children are innocent. That's just basically it. And don't stop them from coming to me. Then where do you say the me was? He says, my kingdom is with my Father. The kingdom of heaven is where he resides. And where's the kingdom of heaven? Inside you. You're a living temple for the living God. I don't think anyone on the planet can, with a great deal of integrity, say that they know why and how we breathe. They can give you a how we breathe mechanistically. But when you go to sleep at night, who breathes you? When you wake up out of a startle, who is it that did that? Did you do it? You go, no, I don't like that. I want to sleep all night long. Quit complaining about the sleep you get, and that part of your consciousness will release the wanting to sleep all night long, and you start sleeping all night long. And some people tell me, I haven't slept all night long. I said, wow, how long were you in bed? 8, 9 hours. What did you do? Oh, got in bed, read a little bit. Don't do that. Watch some TV. Don't do that, because that's going to be more actively appropriate for your mind to grab it and incarcerate it into themselves. And then in the middle of the night, out of the unconscious comes this parade of images that you saw earlier. It's a parade of them. They just come up and they'll go around in your head. One of the reasons you can know that's happening is the helpless feeling and the feeling of hopelessness that you can get out of that. Listen, everybody gets out of everything. When you want to, I doubt it. We all will settle for it tomorrow if we can have it for today, even though we wanted it yesterday, and yesterday is gone and we didn't get it. Right now is the moment of fulfillment. Right now, and it is always right now. That right now is past, now we're in a new one. Does that take some sort of narcissistic approach to learn how to do this? Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be willing to look at yourself and look inside there and see what isn't perfect and let it be just fine with you. Be just fine with you. Yeah, but I don't like it. Move. No, I got here first. You're arguing for your limitation. Christ is expansion, is forgiving, and forgiving from the heart. Why do we pray to God, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that? Either you got false hope going or you're getting some of the things you ask for. Because we don't do things without a payoff. Even the payoff of being a victim and you get victimized, then you're right. Even though you really miss what they took from you, you're right. And some people will do that rather than do loving. While we're at the Grace Retreat, some of us who do facilitating there, we don't live on the grounds of a Silmar. Because if we do, then that means some of you are the people who want to get in couldn't, because we're taking your space. So we sleep across the road in a motel. And it's a nice place, and we're well known there after maybe 8 or 9 years of doing it. We had an earthquake. And that's where we were when it happened. And they said, that must have been a roller earthquake. What are the other kinds? The ones that hit like that, take your house down. The ones that roll, usually the building will move a little bit with the flow of the energy. And I thought, well, it couldn't have done much damage. Then this morning I heard 2 people died as a result of being hit with debris. And they're calling it a death-dealing earthquake. I thought, 2 people? That's not death-dealing. That may be telling us something else, like you can die in earthquakes. Now, we could take that and play nasty with it inside of ourselves until we won't go north of Santa Barbara. Oh, Santa Barbara's nice. But is that where you want to live? No, I need a bigger base of people because of my work. Well, how about faxes and telephones and cell phones and pretty soon portable TVs? See, that's all coming. That's all coming in. Some places, it's already there. You can sit in front of your computer with the television camera on top of it and talk to somebody in Japan who's got the same setup. Not exactly. Maybe a different brand of something. But that they're compatible in this process has got to be very, very important. Are you compatible with what you're doing? Are you compatible with the Christ? I don't know if you've paid much attention to it, but on the telephone or on the radio or on TV, they're playing songs that are traditionally not Christmas carols. And so we're moving it into rum-da-dum-dum, me and my drum. And they're taking the words to the night before Christmas, and they're moving those around very cleverly. So we get to enjoy it. Don't lose track of where your joy comes from, because you can hear things out here and one person likes it and the other one doesn't. Where's the difference being made if they're hearing the same thing inside? So if somebody doesn't like what you like, you have to compromise. Listen to the first part of theirs and the last part of yours. Then everybody will be miserable. Or just say, that won't be in our relationship. This particular song, 2 songs, 3 songs. We yelling at each other will not be in our relationship. That's going to be, you want to go outside and yell at me? Go far enough away so I can't hear it and then yell. Or go in the car, turn on the radio real loud, roll up all the windows and yell. Or if you're afraid you'll be heard, cry. And if you're afraid you'll be seen, just simper a little bit. They get to find out what's going on. Then you walk in and say, I've been out in the car simpering over you. He goes, well, you're a simpering idiot, so why wouldn't you do that? I'm not surprised. That doesn't shake me. Do it. To all of you people outside of LA area watching on TVs or, let's see, computers, hope you're having a good time with this important subject. If you're not, you didn't listen to one of the first part. So I gave you the 3. Take care of yourself, others, everything to your advancement. Then we like health, wealth, happiness, prosperity. Well, on that one, you can get all sorts of dollar signs. What's the next one? Abundance and riches. And health, wealth, and happiness. Not necessarily in that order. Be calm. As the youngsters would say, cool. I found out cool means you're supposed to look like a doper. I said, well, I've been cool for years. I guess I don't have to do much. And a lot of people say, I doubt that there's a mystical traveler, that John or JR is that, or anybody else. I said, goodbye. You have to go to another university called the University of Hard Knocks. And they're going to untie your knots and straighten you out and put you in line for the usability you can have to the community, to the culture, to the world, to the energy fields that we produce and can put out. Years ago, I taught the initiates how to change the weather by using the energy fields that comes off the initiation. We went into Lagos, I guess it was the airport in Nigeria. On the way out, it was raining, it was overcast. Believe me, we were all through with Nigeria. And so the plane could have left a day early and I'd got out of bed and gone on it. The people are great. It's just they haven't done much with the country. You can walk what looks like cement because it's brown and it's hard. And then the next day you walk over it, it's mucky and mushy because it rained. And you can see it's going to seep through. Does that make it an inferior culture? No, it's exciting. When they told us about a lot of the snakes there, Jen, would you like to go see them? I said, just show me a picture. That'll be close enough for me. I know some of them thought, what a pansy. That's okay, I could leave and they couldn't. So I was okay with being a pansy or whatever else they wanted to say. Then I went back. As I got off the plane, I said, what kind of fool are you? And someone on the staff said, what to me? What? I said, I was just wondering, what kind of fool are you that you allowed yourself to get hooked into this trip? Because I never asked you to come. I just told you I was going. And they looked and they said, well, wherever the traveler goes, I'm going to go too. I said, it's in you, so stay home. They said, no, I like to be around your physical body. I said, oh, so it's body religion. Is that what we're dealing with? I said, stop that. That's not what this is about. This is about you going inwardly, and if you want to find me, go there. And if you can't go there, get a picture. If you can't do that, get a videotape. If you can't do that, come to a seminar. Why is that the last one? Because that's the way it works. And yet at the same time, we all know that the information process of giving information, the more senses that it can touch and reach, the more chance you have of getting it. And you can sit here in this room physically alive with all of us and not get what's happening. Because you think the words have to be a certain way. Many, many years ago, I said, it doesn't matter what I say. I can say ham and eggs, ham and eggs, ham and eggs, ham and eggs, and the Spirit will move upon you because it's anchored through here. They said, how do I do that? I said, you have to be lucky enough to catch it. But it seems to favor those who are prepared. And so we say, let's prepare you. And what is that? Use everything. But they got my parking place. They're parked outside in my lot out there. What I do, tow the car, use everything to your advancement, upliftment, and growth. Oh, how's that going to help by towing the car? When they come after you, you'll get a lot of strength and abilities tested. But can't you put a sign there? Sure, they're there. Where? Down the bumper guards. Well, I never looked there. I know that's why I'm telling you, look there now. So we look to the churches and temples and cathedrals, man-made objects saying, this is where God lives. This is the house of God. You should see the house of God. You know, it's universes. And God is in this room as us, with us, being with us, because that's how big He is. So talking on the phone the other day, about 2 months ago, guy said, how is it? Oh, let's see if I can remember exactly how he said. I won't do exactly because that's not what the information is about. In fact, Spirit just told me I'm censored out of that. I love it. I really love this. This is the first time in about 10 years that they made a fool out of me publicly. So how am I going to use that to my advancement, upliftment, and growth? I'll think about it after I get through being angry about it. Isn't that what we tend to do? Wait till they get theirs. Yours is not to give to them. Boy, if you knew the secret karma of your worst enemy, you would never do another thing to hurt them again. You may have to stay away from them, because inadvertently you could, but it wouldn't be that you intend to take revenge. We tend to take redemption. We want to be redeemed for these sins against other people that we commit in our conscious awareness in the body. Then the basic self gets involved, and you're not aware of it. He's busy taking revenge anyway, and then somebody takes your car. Well, while we're up in Grace, we heard an alarm going off on the excursion, the big gas-suckling buggy. But I tell you, when we put the 9 people in there and put the 2 people in another car, and we drive for a while and we check the gas mileage and divide it by the number of people, we win. That's simple. So while I was at a shopping place, somebody wrote a note and put on my car. They said, don't you know these cars drink up a lot of gas? I said, well, if it takes more than an eye drop, it's a lot of gas. So I guess all the cars are equally guilty. Then I thought, I'm sure glad I got this, but they really shouldn't make them. They really shouldn't. Or they should increase the miles per gallon. Really increase it. Like every time the price of gas goes up, they have to increase the miles per gallon by 5 miles. And when the car goes down, the others get to stay there because that's for the people. The others are for corporations. I'm not bagging or bad-mouthing corporations. Thank God we got them, or we would not have a lot of the things we have now. Then you can go around the world and see a lot of things that thank God you don't have them. So what might be an ideal way to worship Christ? We've talked a lot about the outer surface things. Once you find the true name of God, the name that, it's like if I say, hey, you, that's how most people see God. But if I say, George, what are you doing? That's knowing God, because he'll give you the name for you to use in connecting with God. He'll give you that vibration. Because some people, mostly these will be, I'm going to exclude the Jews out of the comment. The infidels who follow other names of God follow also other frequencies of God. And when they do that, that frequency is going to come to you and influence everybody around them. Now it starts to make a little sense that the Crusades went out to kill off people that were following a false God. That's in quotes. But here's one to see if you can wrap your mind around. If there's one God and we all know him and he's real and we all have the same one, why don't we all have the same religion? Why wouldn't it just naturally be that would either disband because what the heck's that doing anyway? Well, we have to have a social life. Humans are social creatures. They used to call them social animals, but they've expanded. Must be evolution working. Do I hear a baby crying? You know, that's just free energy. If you don't think babies irritate me when they cry, you're setting up your mind to implant it out there so that when babies cry, you get upset. You start to get tight, bite down the jaw instead of opening and receiving the fullness of the child's energy towards you. They'll shut up crying very fast. Is that manipulative? Sure. Is that bad? No. Why? Well, there's more things that manipulate us than we manipulate them. What are the things? Lights up here, lights in the room, heat, air conditioning, cars for driving, horses for recreation. You can find them out there. Just these few will just open your mind to, how about this and this and this and this and this? Well, look at it and see what it is. Trust your own intuition and then check it out. It'll start to expand the horizons and the vistas of your mind. Now they test people for intelligent quotients. 20-some years ago, 25 years ago, we started checking people for a comprehension index. Not what they've learned, because you can give them a test and get that, but find out how they're going to take the learning and expand with it. And that's what everybody wants. They all want this little more gift, like, God, give me a gift. You're alive and you're breathing, there's this gift. Well, how about the rest of it? That's for the God inside of you, and your conscious awareness and your experiences and your karmas and anything else that's rolling at you is for you to use. Why? God's responsible for his creation, and you're responsible for yours. Because The Bible says very clearly, Jesus said it to the multitude that was there, ye are gods. See, that's blaspheming the Hebrew religion. Or would we call it the Jewish faith? Doesn't matter to me as long as we're doing it with appropriate intention. That is referencing and giving us reference points that we all know that we can bounce information off. And how do we know if information is accurate? You read somebody else's book to see if they say a similar thing. And they do, and then you read somebody else's book to see what they say, and they're saying a similar thing, and they're all doing it. Who stole from who? You can't find out by referencing each other, but a lot of intellectuals and academics, scholars, will do the research intellectually through books, and the spiritual scientist learns the information from experiencing it and ingraining it into their consciousness and producing it out into the world. One of the greatest scientists that came on the planet was Jesus Christ. And he demonstrated and showed people continuously. You know, there's a place in the Bible, in the New Testament, where one of the apostles was speaking as reading the letter. In my Father's house is many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you so. Now we've got to watch out for that one. Because you'll say something and do something and God didn't slap you down, so therefore he approved of you. We're not too sure. In the Old Testament, he sent prophets before any action that was to be taken spiritually to tell the people, prepare yourself, make way, the path. Leave this city and go, it's going to be destroyed shortly. A lot of people said, well, I'm not going until I see it. You're just going to see it and then dead. Then what did he do? Well, I wished I hadn't done it. No, you won't. That ability won't be there. It's like men can't have babies because that ability isn't there. You're saying, yeah, but what about these people that are doing surgery? And setting up so that maybe men can have babies. What are they going to produce? What kind of a consciousness child? How's it going to grow up and where's its line of energy coming from? A test tube? Operating tables? The body is so marvelous, is so well built, that we can put up with all the stuff that we do. If it weren't built like this, I think many of us would have jumped off buildings a long, long time ago. Because what? The negativity we do towards ourselves about what somebody might do to us, if they knew this or this or this or this, or interpreted it wrong, then they'll come at us and we'll really be harmed, terribly harmed. I mean, it'll be disaster, it'll be destruction. And you look out there and the grass is growing, trees are blowing, wind is through the air. There's no destruction. There just is. There are gods called Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. There are gods like that. They don't have the energy field of the one we deal with. But they're travelers in that line also. But they're not the travelers that go the way we go. Many of those are going to reincarnate right back real soon because they're going to see what went on. And the person they worshiped as God in the flesh, they're going to do what he says to them in the spirit world. Most of us say, this is it. I've been around a long time, worked hard, delivered a lot of good things. Now it's time for me not to be here. So if I said, well, you're going to die tomorrow. This will be your last Christmas, you see. You're going to die tomorrow. You may say, oh, no, I don't want to. Well, that's what we're studying. how to die and stay alive. What do we tell people? You have to practice these things. You have to keep at these things, and not as a punishment by distributing the information, you're going to die or go to hell. The road to hell is paved. It's a good trip. I mean, you don't have to climb down through a fiery volcano. You can drive into it in your Ferrari. It's paved. Do you understand that? It's very easy. And going to heaven is very difficult because you got to be willing to see the face of God by looking at your own face and the destructiveness you produced in yourself. And once you have finished looking at those, what will there be next for you? Many people who have been asleep since the time of Jesus are still asleep. They didn't have a resurrection. A lot of them said we live again or we live in another place. The Egyptians embalmed for that. People who are of the Hebrew faith want to be buried over by the Intercontinental Hotel in Jerusalem, facing the holy city of Jerusalem. What they don't know is how Jerusalem was spelled. J-E-R, capital U-S-A-L-M. I was flying with one of my lady teachers many, many years ago from Salt Lake to San Francisco. And she turned around and grabbed hold of my hand. She said, "Oh my God." And I said, "No." And I didn't know what she was talking about because she said, "I just saw the New Jerusalem and it's ready to come down." I said, "Do you think it'll be out here?" We were someplace over Reno. I said, "Do you think it'll be out here?" And she looked down. She said, "No, it doesn't look like that." I said, "No, it'll be new, so I guess there'll be nothing there." And she says, no, it is beautiful, and described it to me in great detail that she didn't even know how to read a recipe to make banana nut bread. Was that difficult for her? No, that lady's health increased and improved. She saw a true vision of something. And what she called it was fine with me because it's her vision. I never went about trying to disprove it or make her wrong. I just stayed very close because if she saw it in the sense of it's being prepared to be dropped down, then maybe we can get out of the way if it's going to come on us. And I don't see him, but if she could, that'd be good enough for me. Then many years later, I saw it. And I thought, wow, this New Jerusalem is going to come down all over the planet. Because it seems ridiculous that God would choose Jerusalem. Even though it's a holy vortex, there are others like that. When initiates get together in a room, we open a vortex of energy. Same thing with ministers. Same thing happens when you serve people. The vortex opens. If we all put our mind to the Christ, the God over this area. The best way to describe it is this region, because we're not sure where the ends of it go. In the spirit above the physical, because all of that. And I used to have a lot of trouble with the idea that how come Jesus is the only begotten Son of God when the Bible says ye are all gods? Oh, we're not sons, we're already developed. If he calls us a son and daughter of God, maybe we're up for discipline. What do we do with that? Learn it real well, and then you'll know what to stay out of. And that will be important. And to all you people around the world that are listening to us, God bless you, each and every one. And may God shine his light fully within your heart. May you be forever blessed. May you see that comes your way is always your blessing. If today didn't work good, do tomorrow a little differently. A little differently. If you don't like the job you're in, start looking for another one. Keep expanding and keep growing, because that's the way it's been set up spiritually.
Baruch B'Shem.